Hello photographers, today we're going to learn how to use your camera's histogram to take perfect photos. The histogram is a graph that tells you about your exposure, and the most important parts of the graph are the left and the right edges, which represent the brightest and darkest parts of your image. When you're taking a photo, generally speaking, you don't want your final photo to be over or underexposed. So the first thing to look at with your histogram is whether or not it is tight up against the left or the right edge of the graph, like this. When your histogram looks like this, it means your image is overexposed and the resulting photo will have areas that have no detail in it at all. If your histogram looks like this, what you need to do is check your image and see where the details are actually blown out. And you can do this by turning on your camera's blinkies, which most cameras allow, and it looks like this. The areas that are blinking are the areas of your image that are completely overexposed with no detail in them whatsoever. And when you see this in your image, what you need to do is decide whether or not you want to make an adjustment to your exposure. When considering whether or not to make an adjustment, the first thing to do is check the other edge of the histogram. If your histogram has a gap between the left edge of the graph and the left edge of the histogram itself, this means that you can safely underexpose the image to recover detail without losing any details in the shadow areas of the image. And when you do this, you'll have more data in the highlight and shadow areas of the image, which will give you more flexibility when you sit down to edit that image. And the reverse is true if your histogram is tight up against the left side and you have room on the right side. You can safely increase your exposure to recover some or all of the lost shadow details without losing any highlight details. So that's how you use your histogram, but you might be wondering, what should my histogram look like when I take a photo? Now that's the wrong question to be asking yourself. That question assumes that there's some sort of perfect histogram that you should strive for in every image. And there are even some photographers out there that refer to this as the perfect histogram. But that's a bunch of crap, because there is no such thing as a perfect histogram. You as a photographer know what you want your final image to look like, and the histogram for that image could look completely different from that so-called perfect histogram. Let me show you an example. This is a photograph of Angela that I shot against a pure white backdrop. And for this photo, I wanted the backdrop to be pure white. In addition to that, her shirt is mostly white, the gun and her skin are quite bright, while her hair, eyebrows, the gun stock, and her skirt are the only really dark areas of the image. And this is what the histogram for this image looks like. Now, almost all of the data in this image is up against the right edge of the histogram, and for this image, this histogram is perfect. Now, when I shot this photo and reviewed it on the back of the camera, the whole background was blinking, showing that it was overexposed, which is exactly the way that I wanted it. So what you need to understand is there is no perfect histogram, and you shouldn't try to get every histogram to look a certain way. Instead, the histogram is a tool to help you judge your exposure. With it, you can determine if areas of your image are under or overexposed, and then based on what you want out of your image, you can adjust your exposure to compensate for what the histogram tells you. And one final point, when you review the histogram and the image on your camera, you're seeing the image with the in-camera JPEG processing applied to it. If you're shooting RAW, this does not represent the actual histogram of the RAW file. If you want a histogram that's representative of the RAW file, you'll want to change the picture profile on your camera to flat or low contrast. Now, the actual name of the profile will vary from camera to camera, but what you want is something that applies minimal processing to the image. This will make the image look flatter and duller when you review it on the camera, but it will give you a more accurate histogram and a better representation of what the RAW file is going to look like. With the standard or other picture modes on your camera, the histogram could be showing you something that is overexposed that isn't actually overexposed in the RAW file. And this could dramatically change what adjustments you might or might not want to make to your exposure for that image. So that's how you use a histogram to evaluate your exposure. And if you have any questions about the histogram, let me know down in the comments. And then do me a favor, would you like this video and subscribe to my channel? If you really like this video, share it with your friends. But the most important thing you need to do is get out there and take some damn photos. I'll see you guys, I don't know, sometime soon. And you can do this by turning on what are... Can you back it up, please? That's good.